Medicine in the Middle Ages was a world away from what you know today. Imagine a time when illness was explained not by germs, but by spirits, bad air, or the balance of mysterious bodily fluids. A headache might be treated with bloodletting, and a fever with ground herbs whose effects were little more than guesswork. It was a world where doctors wore long robes, monasteries kept dusty manuscripts, and ordinary people relied on charms as often as they did on cures. Today, we are stepping into that world to ask a simple but unsettling question. Why was medicine in medieval times so terrible? Picture yourself in a medieval village. The rhythm of daily life is steady and unchanging fields to tend, animals to care for, and long hours of labor. Then, illness strikes. Perhaps a fever, perhaps a sudden swelling, perhaps a cough that does not leave. What happens next is rarely reassuring. For most people, medicine means the local healer or wise woman, armed with herbs gathered from chamomile for aches, garlic for infections, nettle tea for the blood. These remedies sometimes helped, but just as often they did little at all. More formal medicine relied on the theory of the four humors: blood, phlegm, yellow bile, and black bile. Health, it was believed, came from balancing these fluids. If you were feverish, you had too much blood, so the answer was bleeding. A cut opened by a leech or a sharp knife, life pouring slowly into a bowl. Imagine being weak with sickness, and then made weaker still by the cure. That was the rhythm of medical life. Illness, compounded by remedies that rarely healed. To understand how medicine functioned at its higher levels, let's follow the life of Hildegard of Bingen, a 12th century abbess, visionary, and healer. She was not a physician in the university sense, but her writings show how deeply medicine and belief intertwined. Hildegard's medical texts combined herbal remedies with spiritual guidance. She prescribed fennel for digestion, lavender for clarity of mind, and baths to draw out illness. But she also emphasized prayer, confession, and moral health as part of physical healing. In her world, disease was not just biological, it was spiritual, even moral. Illness could be punishment for sin or a trial sent by God. A healer's role was not only to restore the body, but also to guide the soul. Through figures like Hildegard, we see how medicine was shaped less by evidence and more by philosophy, theology, and inherited tradition. Even for the learned, medicine was bound to ideas we now see as superstition. Archaeology gives us another window into this world of terrible medicine. Excavated skeletons from medieval cemeteries reveal the marks of both disease and treatment. Bones show evidence of crude surgeries. Trepanation holes drilled into skulls to release pressure or bad spirits. Some patients survived, many did not. We also find medical tools, scalpels, probes, even urine flasks. Yes, urine was central to diagnosis. Physicians studied its color, smell, and taste to determine what ailed their patients. Imagine the quiet ritual. A glass flask held up to the light, the physician gazing thoughtfully at its contents, claiming to see within it the secrets of the body. Cultural beliefs shaped treatments as much as observation did. Astrology guided many medical decisions. The stars and planets, it was thought, influenced the body's humors. A doctor might consult the zodiac before choosing the day to bleed a patient or administer herbs. Healing was written in the stars as much as in the soil. From graves and manuscripts alike, we see a world where medicine was a blend of faith, philosophy, and fragile hope. At the top of society, medicine was grander but not necessarily better. Kings and nobles had access to learned physicians trained in universities like Salerno, Bologna, or Paris. These doctors read Latin texts, studied Galen and Hippocrates, and prescribed treatments in line with humoral theory. A royal patient might receive expensive imported spices, precious syrups, or complex regimens of diet and regimen, but the results were often no more effective than the herbs used by villagers. Even the rich could not escape epidemics. During the Black Death, kings and commoners alike succumbed, despite every effort of their physicians. Contrast this with the monasteries. Monks tended gardens rich with medicinal herbs, sage, rosemary. Mint and offered care that was at times more practical than the learned physicians. They could not cure plague or leprosy, but their clean cloisters, regular diets, and basic nursing often gave patients a better chance than elaborate medical theory. So whether you were poor or powerful, the truth was the same. Medicine was uncertain, treatments unreliable, and health precarious. So, why was medicine in medieval times terrible? Because it was bound to ideas that had little basis in reality humors, astrology, and spiritual imbalance. Because cures often weakened rather than strengthened. And because even the most powerful healers could not halt the spread of disease. And yet, within this world of error and limitation, we see the beginnings of something familiar. Observation of symptoms, careful recording of remedies, the long human struggle to understand the body. Medicine in the Middle Ages may seem terrible to us, but it was also part of the slow, uncertain path toward the knowledge we have today. Imagine yourself leaving the healer's cottage, clutching a small pouch of herbs, uncertain if it'll help. The rhythm of life continues, fragile and vulnerable, shaped by faith and by hope. That was medieval medicine terrible. Yes, but deeply human.